Hello, everyone.
Hi,
My name is M9,
and I'm Nixie, and this
and this is Out of Character. What is up, everyone? Happy New Year. I'm just gonna start with saying Happy New Year. Nixie will be with us in a couple of seconds. She had to restart her router, but how is everyone doing? I feel like I should be drinking alcohol, but I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking coffee because I just took a nap recently, shortly before the stream, and I'm also kind of cold, so like I'm sleepy and cold. It's not a good combination, so I decided to drink some coffee. Hi, Stormy. You know, sometimes I'm really glad that I have a stream deck right in front of me so that I can like quickly mute when I'm gonna have a cough attack. We're not sponsored by Elgato or Stream Deck people. How are you guys doing? How's the new year treating you so far? I will say we don't have a guest today. This is just going to be a like beginning of the year kind of catching up stream. We were gonna do a holiday stream that was just going to be us, Nixie and I, just kind of hanging out and chatting, and pretty much, you know.
I'm back. Sorry.
Hi, there she is. We were just gonna we were just gonna be hanging out and just kind of chatting. So we decided to kind of wrap up the year a couple of weeks early. So we've been off for a couple of weeks, but we're back, and we'll be doing this.
We're back, everybody.
Weekly now.
From now on, unless it's a holiday, probably.
Unless there's a holiday, yeah. And
I feel like taking off holidays isn't too bad.
no, it's not. And you know what, the good thing is that we can always kind of shift things around. You know, we could do an episode. It doesn't have to be on Friday. If we're gonna be off, or if we're gonna go on vacation or anything like that. But with that said, Nixie, how are you? How's the year treating you?
So far okay. I was sick on New Year's, but now I am better, and I am. It's been pretty alright. It's been cold. It's been very cold here.
Yeah.
And then it got warm, and then it got cold again. So I think that's just gonna be the cycle of the year this year.
Yeah, it was really cold around Christmas. Really cold.
What did you get down to? I have to ask. Like,
I think we got down to 9. I think may
That's
have been.
it?
Yeah, I think that may have, like without wind chill like that. But
what was your wind chill?
I think maybe around 1 or like negative something, but it wasn't as bad as some other places.
I wish it was that nice here. We started getting hot around 1 here. No,
Oh
I
my
got
God.
negative 39 wind chill.
Oh hell.
It was fucking cold. I ended up having to like go inside and sleep in the basement. Yeah, hell no. Exactly. It was horrible.
Yeah, you know, and it was really cold, but no snow, not an inch of snow.
I have ice and snow here. I'm in Iowa.
She's in Smallville.
Which isn't that far north. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. Which is why I was gone from the beginning, because my internet sucks ass.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. She's like, you know, like where Superman crash
Literally in the
landed.
middle of a cornfield. No, I actually live close to Captain Kirk's birthplace. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. We did have the conversation before.
Riverside, man.
And it rained and
no, ours tried to melt and then it snowed again.
Yeah, we had a bit of ice like on the cars and on the road and stuff like that, but it wasn't too bad. I did, however, experience my car door not wanting to shut once I opened it because the insides of it were frozen. So
Oh my god, the door to my RV got frozen like that. I couldn't close it.
so like yeah, so I if I opened it and I shut it, it wouldn't like latch. So it would just be
Mhm.
open. So what I had to do was like hold it, push down the lock like manually, or hit the button, but like I had to like lock the door in order for it to latch close, or or else it would just like open. I'm
I
like,
saw okay, so
oh boy.
I watched this guy on YouTube, right, who does weather stuff. And he posted 2 videos 6 days apart that made me laugh so hard because the first one was coldest Christmas in decades, right? And the next one was talking about the like a super heat wave hitting it. It was
Oh my
six
God.
days apart.
Yep.
I was
We
like, are
we
you
won't talk
kidding
about
me?
how the world is ending.
I mean,
No.
the world is already really. Have you watched Bo Burnham? You know the world ended a while ago.
Yeah, the world did. I'm pretty sure the world ended in 2020, and
I thought it
we're
ended in
just
2012 and we're
it
just in
probably did.
denial.
Yeah, I think we're like in purgatory right now. Like we're just like
It's just denial. We're in denial that the world ended, and here we are,
yeah.
just pretending to continue existing. Because
Yeah,
why not?
it's like Lost, you know, like at the end of it all, we're like, oh, we were all
Yes.
really dead all along. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, that's a great ending of the story. It's like a dream theory.
Yeah.
Anytime dream theory comes up, you're like, oh, that sucked.
Spoiler alert for anybody that hadn't seen
We're in
Lost.
a
Sorry,
simulation.
we are in a simulation. Anyway,
You know, some people actually believe that.
yeah, some people do, but some people believe some crazy shit.
Anyway, we're here to talk about roleplay, though.
We are here to talk about roleplay.
So,
And yeah, so I was telling them that we didn't have a guest because we just kind of wanted to hang out, you know, beginning of the year type of thing.
yes.
And we meant to have a show late in the year just to kind of wrap things up, just hanging out. But now we're back in full force. So what have you been up to in RP?
What have I been up to? I've been looking for a server to play on.
Yeah, Conan.
I've been playing Conan, but currently a bunch of servers that everyone says are really good are kind of like in between seasons. And the server I was playing on has been yeah, Stormy, come join us. The server I have been playing on, I'm not particularly fond of the story that was happening, so I retired my main character. And now I'm on a new server called Lotus RP, which apparently has people who helped make the AOC mod on. I learned today.
That's
But
funny.
that's basically what I've been doing so far. Actually, you'd be first, Stormy, because it's the beginning of the year.
Right. Starting the year off strong with
starting the year off
Stormy.
strong, yeah. Stormy join us.
And actually, there is, and Nixie doesn't know this yet because I hadn't actually told her, but there is somebody that I have been in communication with to try to get on the show. But we're kind of working things out. Like they referred me to like their the people in charge of their like press.
Excuse you, who were you getting?
So so we'll see if we can work that out sometime soon.
Press?
Yeah. But we'll see. We might have to we potentially might have to wait until the channel's a bit bigger or the show's a bit bigger, you know, to entice them to come on the show, but I am in communication with them already. So we'll see.
Dang, you're gonna have to tell me. This is exciting.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
You say I'm in communication with their press, and it immediately becomes much bigger.
Yeah, so they referred me to like their I don't know if it's their marketing team or like, you know, people in charge of press, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Like their agent? Like, is it a celebrity? What are we doing?
It's a company. And so we'll see. But
that's
just a teaser,
exciting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And
we'll see what that
you
goes.
were here to hear because I don't know if there's many other.
Do they RP? Somewhat. They are more like a facilitator of RP. So we'll.
Interesting.
But yeah,
That's
Um,
so exciting. Yeah, I was thinking we'd probably be. I have a few people who are bigger role players that I would like to get on when we
mhm.
do get a little bit bigger. So tell your friends, get them
Yeah,
onto here so we
it's
can
gonna
get
be
cool
exciting.
people to come talk to.
Yeah, definitely want to have Stormy on the show. Because she's kind of been all over the place as far as like modding as well for both Conan
Yeah,
and Ark.
honestly, we're Stormy, wasn't she the one who did a lot of the story on TOL?
Yeah, yeah. And
I
she'll
rant
be able to
about how
tell
great
us.
that was
Yeah, she'll be able to tell us about like behind the scenes admin stuff as well, all the setup and stuff.
because
Hi.
I keep getting new mods up by the 15th. Ooh. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
So, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of RP. However, I've been messing around just casually. I joined a like zombie apocalypse 5M server, and that's been kind of interesting. Um, I haven't really dedicated too much time, and the server's still pretty small. It's called Years Later RP, and the way that it's coded is really interesting. We'll see if they get their population up. I think it could lead to some good RP. But what I think I am going to do sometime soon, because I know that a few people bought the game just because I mentioned it. I think I'm going to set up a Project Zomboid server.
Oh, no way.
And yeah, just
Do a role
for
play on Project Zomboid?
yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd have friends who are addicted to that game.
Yeah, so I play the game a little bit, and the game is is very complicated. Thanks for the follow, Fire Hazard. It's very complicated for like what is hidden behind. You know, like the visuals and the graphics for the game are like hiding this really complex system of like mechanics for like a
Oh,
zombie
yeah,
apocalypse game.
no. It is intense. I've played it before. You get like you can have problems because you got your big toe cut off. Like
Yeah,
they go deep in, especially injuries and stuff that like problems with
right.
your character model has so many things that you have to like figure out how to fix. There's just all sorts of mechanics you have to learn. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the type of mechanics that I would love on like a big like AAA game, like mechanics, medical. I pulled my hair out. um all these different things that you can specialize in, and like you have traits that give you
That
different type of
completely affect your gameplay.
yeah.
Your
And
traits define how you play that game. Like,
so I'm excited. It'll probably be, we'll probably set something simple up as far as lore, because like how complicated do you have to get to make, to do a zombie apocalypse? Um
yeah,
and then, just play casually, add some mods
our role
and
play. Yeah, let's say the game is set up pretty well for role play already because it's base building. It's
mhm.
zombie apocalypse survival. You want to team up to trade with people and
Mhm.
get loot that maybe you can't find in your area. Gasoline is so
Right.
important.
I
Like,
think one of the cool concepts about that game is, and something that I didn't know at first going in, is the fact that uh nothing respawns. Like
no,
whatever,
it's gone. It's gone.
yeah, like whatever it spawns in when the map is created, that is all there is on the map. And that's kind of amazing. Like that sets up for
Mhm.
trade and for conflict too.
It's that thing about limited resources that
Mhm.
are I've always wanted in role play games where having something that's
Ugh, yeah.
limited makes for people needing to trade and creates economy. Yeah. No.
Right.
It's not always great, but with that one it's a big map. There's a
It is a
lot of
big map,
stuff.
and
Like
it's not hard to like loot and go around and get things. And
mhm.
then you'd be surprised how many times people have full bags and they just leave things around. Um, so it's not like
Well, they die and
yeah, or they die and their bag is right there. Yeah, because the whole game is permadeath, right? There is no respawning, I don't think.
You can create a character profile and just reload that same
Right.
character type, but you can't just like respawn in your base and go grab your stuff and come back. Like
Exactly.
you respawn somewhere and then you gotta go find it and come
my
find
style
your
again.
group again.
Yeah. I wanna try it. I think it's got some really cool mechanics that I think it could be fun. There's even like the whole like repairing vehicles, towing vehicles.
Just trying to grow things is complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see.
Like,
I think it might be fun
it's a good game.
to try out with a few people.
Yeah, for sure.
And
it's a good one for roleplay. Honestly, I've heard of roleplay
Right.
servers on there before.
I tried joining a roleplay server. It was very small, and I think the times that I was joining, it wasn't very active. It was a bit more active later on. So it made it difficult. But the time that I got in, like the RP was actually, when you look at the game, right, like this 2D sprite type of game, I had more serious RP there in like 10 minutes than I did in like 5M.
Well, 5M, you were looking for serious RP in 5M. Though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Really.
But that zombie server, the years later on 5M, that has a lot of potential. It kind of depends, because especially when servers are like non-whitelist and things like that,
anybody can come in.
Yeah, it becomes a mess.
I
like Scum. I've never played Scum.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Scum. I've heard people talk about it. And I know people want to be role-playing in that one because it's got a pretty good system and stuff. But, yeah, I don't think it's really set up for it right now.
Yeah,
I think started an RP on 5M, the early years had some good serious RP, but as it grew in age, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when like the TikTok generation is getting to it.
Oh no.
Nobody really takes anything seriously on 5M.
Did you see what NoPixel announced the other day though?
What was
talking about how it aged. They put an announcement out basically saying, "Hey, start role playing, guys. We're gonna start kicking people for not taking this seriously." Because like, oh, hold on, I want their Discord. Give me a second, I'll find it. Because it made me laugh.
It went from roleplay oriented to bitch, I win this and I get it. Exactly, and that's the problem. And then it also became this whole thing where it's like people get in, they just want to make money and kind of troll each other and hang out and compete. But it's like, what happened to the RP? Like I remember, you know, when like years ago when I first did 5M, you could have like good family dynamics. You could have serious RP, but all that seems to be gone. People just are doing GTA Online.
Yeah, so I remember. Okay, so talking about family-oriented RP, though, when I played back on GTA San Andreas, I had a crazy like story set up with somebody where they kind of became a father figure to my character, not because we just said that's my dad, but because he looked out for her. He saved her life multiple times from being assassinated. And then in the end, when she was in a predicament of either I save you or you're going to die, he drove off of a cliff and set it up to look like I had managed to escape.
Oh, yeah, I remember you.
And it was so intense. And so when I watched some people not that long ago on NoPixel, I was so annoyed because I can tell that's what they want when they have family dynamics. They want to have someone who this is someone I've role played with, this is someone that has a father figure towards me, but they don't want to put the work in to get the family dynamic there.
Yeah, and I've also noticed
they just go, that's my dad.
Yeah, exactly. I've noticed that like some of the RP has turned into and this is gonna sound weird, and let's see if I can explain myself. It's turned more about content creation than
Bit RP. That's what I
than
call it.
than what?
I call it bit RP.
Yeah,
Do it for the bit.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's create this scene, or let's have this scene. And even some things are like scripted, and just so that we can upload this clip on TikTok or upload this clip on YouTube.
And they do the same stories over and over again because they keep bringing in people to watch that story, and they don't want to change it in case people leave. So they continuously hang out with the same people, even when it gets so annoying.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That's kind of why I was tired of FiveM, and that's why I'm like begging for something different, which is why I've been like looking at some of these post-apocalypse servers. Because I'm like, I want something different. I'm so tired of the same old shit.
Can I read you this announcement on NoPixel? Because I died laughing. It's from Coil, the person who runs NoPixel. It says, NoPixel is readying itself for a future update where we expect our role players to be of a higher standard than the current meta. In parentheses, myself included. From now on, people will be removed from priority or whitelist with little notice if deemed unfit or not trying. It's about time in the cycle of NoPixel that you reread the rules, my friends.
Wow, yeah. And okay, so let's talk about this topic, right? Do we feel like this is just the direction that roleplay is going? Because when you think about certain communities, when you think about like Game of Thrones, or like, for example, like Westeros RP, right? Like that community has a very specific style to them. And then like FiveM, same type of thing, right? Like, is this something we should be worried about, where like that's not the first server I've heard make that type of announcement?
I feel like it's the I had a word for it, like where it becomes mainstream. It's the mainstreamization words of a niche hobby.
Right. Sorry about that, guys. I just hit my microphone.
Like when something niche, like what roleplay started out to be, which was, it didn't used to be that big, not many people did it, but when it became more known, like NoPixel's in the freaking news, like they have articles on like BuzzFeed about character stories on NoPixel. Like, it's stupid, right?
Right.
But you actually look at the quality of the roleplay. I watched a girl once slightly sniffle, and everyone in chat went, God tier RP. And I was like, oh, what? She's like going, I just am so sad. And I was like, oh, you poor baby. Like, it's the mainstreamization of it. It's that the normal people who don't know how it could be see what it is in popular media.
Yeah, no,
and bringing it elsewhere.
It's a good point, though. And like, unfortunately, it ends up with us having to kind of conform or almost tell ourselves like this is the norm when it comes to a specific type of server, right? Like, I can't there's type of communities or servers that I go in and I had to change my way of thinking so that it doesn't ruin my experience, right?
Yes.
Because if not,
why I stopped playing FiveM.
Yeah, because if not, my expectations are not what is it's not the reality anymore. My expectations of RP
if you've been around in roleplay for a while, like, I know there's a lot of people who come in new and see that as that's all they know. You know, they see that popular thing and they go, that sounds cool, I want to jump in on it.
Right.
But if you've been around for a while and you kind of know where it grew up from, it's disappointing.
Yeah.
But if you're new to it though, you can't be disappointed about something, not having something you never had.
Yeah, no. It kind of sucks sometimes, right?
Yeah, which is kind of why this podcast exists, so we can kind of
Exactly.
complain about what's going on in the role play landscape, which is
Maybe we can
what the
fix
fuck
it.
is happening.
Maybe you and I can fix
Guys,
it.
get your role play together.
Yeah. Public service announcement. Be better. Do better.
Okay, good.
There is this like, I don't know, like need for me. Like I've been away from from RP, right, for a bit, since my last go at 5M. And even then, you know, I was satisfied with some of the RP, but I've been craving for something more, something different.
The deeper shit.
Yeah.
Like the thing that gets you where you're sitting there at your computer realizing you're crying because of something that happened in a silly video game. Like,
Yeah, the kind of thing that at the end of it is like, man, I could write a book based on the RP that I just had. Nowadays,
that
it's
story
like,
was so good I could write a book on that.
right.
Like,
Now it's just like, I mean, that was fun, I guess.
I had a good evening. It wasn't like when the fan was going, "Are you okay?" Exactly. Where you're sitting there, like walking away from your computer for a little bit, like I need to take a break because I am emotionally not okay from that.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff that when I first started role playing in voice RP, because I started role playing well before that in text RP, but when I first started in role play, that's what it felt like was more common across servers. It felt like more people were participating in that kind of deeper meaning
Yeah.
stuff. And I see it every now and then still, like it's a lot more rare to see. And you
Oh,
see, but
Do you
I
think we're in the minority though?
No.
No?
I think a lot of people do feel this way. They just don't know how to have like the words to like be like,
Because
wait,
sometimes I'm like, do I just have a stick up my ass? Like, like, am I expecting too much out of the role playing community?
I think for me, it's partly to do with people aren't getting told no enough. That is something that a lot of servers have issues with.
Yeah, and you know what?
Telling their community no.
Completely agree, right? Because servers turn into this thing where they needed to maintain, because there were servers popping up left and right. So it's like we have to try our best to keep our population and our community and keep growing. And it turned into, let's do everything people want, right? Like, let's try to make
whatever
everybody
they
happy.
ask for, we will present to them and we will give them everything they need so that they don't go away, so that we can keep having people on our server.
No, you can't do this. No, you have to perma. I think we talked about that at some point in one of the previous episodes. And I'll just drop here and say that, guys, if you're missing the live streams, you can go check us out at Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
And check out our merch store. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
There's not a merch store yet, but maybe soon. But anyway,
Sorry,
you can. In previous episodes, I believe that we've talked about that. The fact that it's like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to stop spoiling people. To me, when I first heard the words perma is optional, I was like, what?
Wait, I could just say no to the perma?
I can just
what if they shoot me in the head?
All of the RP that happened for somebody else and say no to being perma. Okay.
That's such a GTA problem, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that really stemmed from GTA because it became so common that people would suffer grievous injuries and just go to the hospital and get the magic cure and come back and just be fine a day later.
So,
like, I got shot in the head and
yeah,
I'm back on the streets.
I completely agree.
Drugs.
But it also happens in Conan where it's like, exactly. That's what I was going to say, Stormy, was it's like everyone is like, oh no, my character's immune to that, or
Which they're trying in rules to try and fight. I've noticed a lot of servers have like are really starting to double down on making sure you don't have a
god
unkillable
complex.
character. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help if you just don't get into perma situations,
I
or
g-
you get into a perma situation, just void the perma.
Listen, I've had some characters that I've been attached to that I really enjoy and that I love, but for me, part of it is causing emotional damage. Like, if
Emotional damage.
if I
It's
can
like
get
that guy.
somebody attached to my character and then kill my character, like that,
And
that
then
is
make
so
everybody sob and
satisfying for me.
go to your funeral, and then you get to sit there as your other character at your own funeral going, this is sad.
See, that type of thing, right? Stormy, you said like when one of your characters died, that you cried IRL, and I remember that season, and this was on WRP, Game of Thrones, just background for people. Um, she had a tavern in the Crossroads, and wasn't even part of like the kingdom that I was part of, but my character actually felt her death because of RP. Like every time that I went to the tavern, sometimes I would sing there. Like we had this relationship. Hi Jess, that just was role play, and that type of thing. It's like, man, why can't we just have like that like seriousness to RP?
It's that empty feeling you get when you pass the area of something roleplay happened in. Like,
So I'll ask you, Nixie, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
Mm.
And I'll ask everybody in chat. You can go ahead and chime in. What do you think the solution is?
talking about it, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
making it more people aware that it's a trend roleplay is going in. Because when you see it, it starts to bother you.
Right.
And when you know it happens, you start noticing it more.
And that's what I'm afraid of, that it is a direction that RP is going, right? Because you see it in different servers. It's not like one server specifically or one game specifically. You see this all across the role-playing community, and it's like, I don't, that's not where I want role-playing to go.
Just Stormy, I think it'll take server admins to be willing to lose people and say no and teach new ways. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you have an administration that also is aware of the problem and can go, it's okay if you don't like this, there's other servers for you, but here we have a higher standard.
So do you think we've gone, or we've allowed it to get too far? This is a follow-up question for Stormy and Nixie. Like, have we spoiled the community too far to the point that now it would actually hurt the community?
It's hard to say, because and be like, this is where we expect it. What's sad about, and we're going to stand up for the quality, the problem about that is I tried doing that when I had an ARC server, and you do run into people who just can't. They'll stick around the server to cause problems because they know that you'll say no, because they want to be combative.
Right.
And that is a problem I think a lot of servers are afraid to have happen. And that's why they keep saying yes and not saying don't do that, or enforcing permas, or
Yeah, and you know what? I think what Stormy was alluding to, that it'll take server admins and mod teams and kind of standing up to like a specific standard, because like I think back to a mid season that that John and I did on ARC, which was like the sci-fi season. It was a small season. We only had, I want to say, I don't know, 20 something people that were logging in consistently. but the quality of roleplay was different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it takes that thought of saying we don't have to be we don't have to have a massive size server to have good roleplay. Um, it shouldn't be all about the numbers because at the
Which, to be fair, when it comes to numbers, sorry to expand on that.
Mhm.
The main reason why I was having so many issues with the server I just left is because it got too big.
uh
The game broke. There was too many people. There's too many storylines. It was all interjecting each other in weird ways that didn't make sense. Like
what was their server cap?
70. They tried going to 80 and it completely broke the
Hmm.
server.
I mean, at 70, Conan struggles.
It's bad. But
Let's
hold
see.
on, I'm gonna
Jess
read what Jess
says,
said
yeah, go
here.
ahead.
Oh, I think it takes a lot of education. I think it also takes leading by example and then providing quality story and experiences. Quality story is a hard one too. But you will lose people, yes. But if the experience is amazing, they'll come back. Exactly. I think you can't be. This is Jess in distress. I think you can't be afraid to lose people to keep integrity. And servers these days are so plentiful. So yes, they will go elsewhere. But are these people even worth having around? Probably not.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. It does become about quality at some point, not quantity. Like the yeah, servers come and go, right? Like, but the reason people jump around so much is because they're looking for something that's worth sticking around for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when we, for example, myself, the reason that I'm like going server hopping on 5M is because I'm looking for something that that fills my needs, you know, and I'm not.
Mm.
I've been looking at role playing groups in Star Citizen. I've been looking at role playing groups in No Man's Sky, which is like a whole different animal. Um, uh,
Roleplay in No Man's Sky?
there's like people that get together and do like missions together and in character and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But the way that lobbies are made up in No Man's Sky, it's almost impossible to have like a big group. So
Yo,
you do
Jess
have to,
No Man's Sky RP? What?
yeah. So you do have to do it with just several people, or
Yeah.
try to break up into like a couple of different groups in the same system. Yeah. So at one point, I was playing with a few friends, and we had more than 4 people. So what we did is we actually split up the groups, um, and the but we were all in the same system, right? That we can travel to each other and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it still kind of worked, but the way that lobby like matchmaking works in No Man's Sky is a fucking mess. So it won't ever work. But
Yeah.
I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for something new, and it's because like my needs aren't being met when it comes to roleplay, and I think that
And
goes
it's
for a
so
lot of
hard
people.
to do. Yeah. And I feel like I've been running into more and more people who keep server hopping.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Exactly.
I'm not happy here. And I'm gonna go try over here because I heard that it's somewhat decent. And then they have a little bit of RP. And they like it a little bit, but then it kind of goes and they find another server. And that's kind of where I've been as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping between servers, trying to find something. Like I just joined Lotus yesterday to hopefully get something a little better because I'm desperately wanting to role play, but where do I go?
Yeah. And to Stormy, she says, I'm waiting for Arc 2 or Dune. Is Dune gonna be multiplayer? Because that's amazing.
I want Nightingale to have roleplay
The
ability.
I'm also waiting for Arc 2. I'm hoping that they don't make it super impossible for modders to just kind of um
I can wish Stormy.
upgrade
I
their mods.
I want it.
Although I know that it's gonna be like the different game engine, so it might be a little tricky for modders to do their thing. But I'm very excited about Arc 2.
Out of the gate with mod support?
Yeah. Well,
I really hope
kind
Arc
of
2 is.
they owe that to the community because modders kept their first game alive for this long. Like,
Yeah.
So
But I have also seen games whose whole, like, everyone who played on it were role players, and that kept the game alive. After the role players left, they literally lost everyone playing the game.
right.
That was Life is Feudal. Life is Feudal was a big game when role players were on it, and then they made Life is Feudal MMO and completely fucked over their roleplay community. And the roleplay community just went, I guess we're gonna go play other games now, bye. And they all like went to Ark and stuff, and the game died, like full death.
I am I'm not sure if hopeful is the word. I am cautiously hopeful, I would say, I think. Because Wildcard has hurt me too many times.
Yeah. Being an old Ark RPer, you kind of go, meh. You want it to be good because Ark was pretty fun, but
Yeah, it's hard to talk. Like, I'm not one of those people that will completely talk shit about a game that I put 2,000 hours in. Like, the game
It's only
can't
two?
be complete shit if I got, like, if I got that much entertainment out of it, you know?
Yeah.
What a thanks, Dorothy.
Yeah, I was gonna say only two. Really, I have almost 5.
Nah, she
What are
has
your
a, yeah,
hours?
she
I'm
has
at
a-
4,927.
freaking nerds, man.
Stormy's like, sit down.
Yeah.
12,000?
You haven't RP'd on it, Jess? Oh, interesting. Maybe we might have to bring the sci-fi server up back with John.
I was an Arc girl. I just got into Conan, so I'm learning Conan's thing. Because I played Arc for so long but then I took a really long break, which is when M9 found me. I was
You wouldn't even bother. Yeah, I know.
the
It's
problem
so
is
late.
Arc kind of died. I've been noticing a lot of the community coming over to Conan now. People I
Yeah.
used to role play are slowly trickling onto the RP servers that I'm on, and I'm looking at the welcome lists going, oh, that's an Arc person. That's an Arc person. Like,
Well, it's because of the fact that, yeah, exactly, Stormy. It's past its due date because Arc has aged, and it hasn't aged well, and it's almost the same
optimized.
age of Conan.
It's not optimized. It has so many problems.
But I mean, Arc was fun while it lasted. I just need I need the new thing. So like Arc 2 better delivered.
I'm hoping for games that come out that have that support to make them role play.
Yeah, so like where is that, right? Like where is that? I know that there was a huge wave of survival games, right? And which were very popular at the time. And those always lend themselves
private servers.
Exactly. There's always something because they don't really think of RPers. And I think when there's games that we look at and we're like, this has a lot of potential for RP, they suck.
Yeah. Well, the problem is a lot of the ones that you want to have that kind of like that can be role played on need private servers.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to, you don't even necessarily have to be able to mod the game, but modding the game is a really important part of roleplay.
Modding the game
people want clothes and decor and food stuff and weapons and armor, and they want that ability to add to it.
Yeah, like
and a lot of developers are afraid of that.
I'm an RPer at heart. Like since I started, like I don't think I've ever really wanted to stop RPing. But like nowadays, I look at certain games and I'm like, I kind of have no interest in RPing in that game. Like you've invited me several times to come along with you on Conan, and I'm like, not really feeling it. I was invited to like Ark and Game of Thrones, the new seasons, and I'm like, I'm hard pass on that.
I uninstalled Ark and I'm not installing it again.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, that drive is just not there anymore. And if Dune could do something about that, that would be amazing. That would be
It's
amazing.
just trying to find the place where we can go where it kind of feels like it's a fresh start.
Hmm.
Because right now it feels like things got established in the games that exist. There is a standard for roleplay on Conan. There is a standard for roleplay on GTA. Everywhere that has roleplay servers, there's a standard there.
Right.
And to have a new game that is different, that is new to learn, the learning curve is always fun to roleplay out. Being able to set a new standard, like, I feel like would really help freshen up roleplay again. Yeah, I ain't no millionaire. Yeah, that is the problem too. People being able to set up servers is expensive.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Um it's not something that you could just kind of easily say, hey, well, I can do this, you know, or I can do that. Oh, nice long response from John Aaron. Let's see.
Oh, hello. You want to read that one?
Yeah, John Aaron says, hey, from my perspective, if you want to experience a meaningful RP story that grabs you right by the field in an older established RP game, you can't rely on the server or other players to deliver it and spoon feed you with it. The majority of RPers these days are too jaded and tired. Amen. Reminiscing the good old days and hoping for new games to fix everything. But they're also starved for quality RP because everywhere you look is just memes and sexual innuendos. I could not have said that any better. You should be sleeping. Oh, Jess actually said that. Like I said it, and then I read that she said it. And I completely agree with you, John. Before we send you off to sleep, it's that same thing, right? That it's like, if you want change, be the change that you want, right? Bring the quality that you want, and quality will come along with you. I think when like Ellie and our group, the group that we were playing with in 5M for a little bit, when we came onto the server, we brought a different type of RP. Like, it was a lot of more like meme RP and people just, you know, cops and robbers type of thing. And then when we were taking our RP a bit more serious, people started gravitating towards us and giving some of that back to us. So I do agree with you that that if you want a higher standard of RP, you got to bring it.
I agree with that, but I've also noticed something that you can only give as much as you can get back.
Right,
if
exactly.
you are bringing it constantly and making these great characters that bring stuff happening to the server, but nobody responds to it in any meaningful way, that's when you start looking for new servers. That's when you start looking for games.
Exactly. It does
because
get tiring. It gets...
You can only bring it so much before you start realizing that nobody's responding to it. That the community has changed to a degree that, like, I don't want to sound jaded because I am a jaded RPer. I stopped role playing for a very long time because I was jaded, and I acknowledge that. But it's there has to be a community shift in certain ways. You can bring it as an individual, and it does attract more people with you if you can find them. But if you are on a server that's just not responding, or the admin team isn't helping prop up the story you're creating, or, like, I hate to say it, one of the servers I played on recently, there was a whole character arc that was happening that everyone was responding to, and it was a big deal on the server that didn't get any admin interaction at all. And it made people really annoyed because they were only focusing on other stories instead of this thing that people were building themselves. So you have to start. You start somewhere. You start bringing the RP. You want to bring what you can and really push that quality. But you still need more. You need support.
Yeah.
You can't do it alone, unfortunately. It's a group game.
And the shitty part is that, like, I'm also a bit of a hypocrite when I say that that sometimes, like, you know, admins need to do better, right? But then I'm like, I don't want to be an admin. Like, so when people are like, oh, well, if you think you could do it better, you do it, right? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
That is the number one reason why servers get made. Someone has a bad experience on a server and they go, I can do it better. And then they make a new server and have the same problems.
All it takes for me is to see one cool character on the server I want to hang out with. I'm like, well, they're so cool. I want to meet them, get to know their story, and see where we can take it from there. If it doesn't work out, I'll look around. You know what, John? That's a good point, right? Because there's been RP, or there's been seasons that that you kind of stick to a certain story, right? There's some people that you might never even get to know on the server. And I think as long as you're getting the RP that you're needing out of your group, or like what you said, that one cool character that you wanted to hang out with, sometimes that's enough. But when you're like, when you're new to a community as well, sometimes it's really hard to insert yourself into RP. That's not always exactly. That's not necessarily a problem with some of the people, but it's it happens, you know. And sometimes, no matter what you try, it just doesn't click. And but I agree with you. You know, that's kind of how I started. It's like, hey, I see this really cool character I want to hang out with. I'm rolling in. And chocolate fries, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, chocolate fries. Yeah, it's just because sometimes, like, that's kind of where I'm at right now, John. I'm finding the fulfillment and the role play that I'm getting with the people I find, and that's really good. When that's what you're wanting, you know, when everything is like, when you're just like, yeah, I'm having fun, I am enjoying this role play. It's meaningful and fulfilling to me as well. It's when you kind of look at the overall picture of the trend role plays going in. That's when you start to get a little worried. Because when you start looking at what other people are doing overall, you get, am I going to have a point when I know everybody in the roleplay community who I trust to be decent at roleplay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've made my clique and now I have to stick to them, because setting outside of that is really hard to do.
Group RP has been the savior for me. If you can have some, that sometimes saves it. It does. That's sometimes enough, but sometimes it's not, because when you've been RPing with your group on different servers, different stories, different seasons, sometimes it's not enough because you're there as a group. So, like, internally you're doing fine, but your group as a whole is not doing well on the server, like interacting with other people. So it can
it's a problem roleplay can get into really quickly.
Yeah, that's always been a thing.
That's every game, to be fair. That's kind of every hobby. There's cliques. But there are, like, a lot of times people get that group, like the internal RP, and they have a hard time letting in new people because they know their people.
Right.
Which can be really disheartening when you're like, oh, this group is so cool, they've got all this great RP, and they kind of don't let you in.
And that's like, never been a thing for me. Like, I love getting to know new people. I love bringing new people in. Like, when I did my vampire character, I was like, if I can turn everyone on the server into a vampire, I will. Like, that wasn't the intention, and that's not where the RP was going. But, like, you know, people were joining my house, and it was fun, and it was rewarding. But yeah, that's why going solo can sometimes be rewarding as well. Also, I think the thing for me going solo sometimes is the lack of pressure that you get.
You can build your own stuff. You can go gather your materials whenever you want. You don't have to tell anybody. I've been going solo fairly often lately.
You know, like, John used to talk shit all the time about me that I never did anything. But first of all, John, Aaron, if you're still here and haven't fallen asleep.
Calling you out.
I'm an RPer, okay? I'm not a fucking I'm not a grinding machine. I am not on this game to play the game.
I stand corrected.
No, I remember like I don't know what season it was. I think it was for Draven actually that I was like and Leo that I was like doing things and making money and learning, and John was like, "Wow, M9 is actually doing things."
Oh my gosh, I like, yeah, doing stuff like I like going. I have characters that I focus all on learning the game, like Aoife, where I learned how to do the game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have characters that I don't do any building or gathering.
Right,
Or
but like
I am only hanging out in town talking to random
exactly
people.
like when I played my Van Gogh character, I built exactly what it was that I needed. Right, I built a treehouse in the jungle, and there was this big jungle man that had very minimal needs. Right, and I made that part of my character because I didn't want to do shit. Like I did not.
I don't want to play this goddamn game. I want to play with people.
Exactly. I'm not here to play Conan.
It is here to facilitate my talking to people. Come over here and talk to me, please.
Yeah. Plus, I can get by on my charm. I'm like, like a bard. I can.
My charm.
I can strictly get by on charisma rolls. How
is that how the Love Shack started?
The Love Shack was just a little hut that I built for myself by a fireplace by a waterfall. What charm? By a waterfall, and everyone would talk shit saying that's like that was M9's Love Shack. And it was just I just like waterfalls. I just like waterfalls.
I just like waterfalls, guys.
So every time I went there was like, oh, M9's going to his Love Shack again. And then eventually it just kind of became the Love Shack.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, you can have these. I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. But you can have group RP and you can have solo RP, and they each, if that's what you're looking for and you can get fulfillment out of it, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're originally getting at when we started talking about this, though, is seeming to get harder and harder to find those, where you get on servers and you have those surface level conversations and you look around trying to bring like stuff and you're trying to do stuff and everyone around you isn't responding to it. And you kind of go,
Yeah. So
I remember, yeah, it's just.
I think John needs to make a new server, and we'll RP there. No.
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 Just no, smiley face. No.
John, you can't lie that we had a really good time with the Oasis. I think that was fucking awesome. I think we had like 10 to 12 people on each side. We had such a good time with that.
Is it too much to ask for a good server that we can all just jump on and play together? Is it too much to ask?
Yeah, I enjoyed that season so much for what it was. Like it lasted like 3 weeks or 4 maybe. Like 3 I think. But it was so fun. It was simple. We worked hard and it worked. And then I got to kill John at the end.
Whoop whoop.
Back with dinner. Yeah, something about, John being the bad guy, me being the hero, is kind of how life should be.
Life should be. That's. You're the bad guy, I'm the hero. Let's just get used to it.
Be the villain to my story.
Now we need to switch that up, though. Like, you be the villain, M9, and John can be the hero and see how it goes.
That's what he was trying to do with my vampire character. Get off my planet, dick. Jonathan thought he was the hero, And he tried to make Draven the bad guy, but that's not what it was. John does make a very good villain. Yes, he does. He does.
I need to roleplay on more servers with you, John, because I hear about all these characters and I have yet to experience any of them. Mostly because the ones I hear that you're there, for some reason you keep dying.
For some reason, she says.
The one time I was on Equinox with you around, there was a wanted poster on the notice board, and then I heard you were killed. And I went, oh, I guess I don't get to roleplay with that character. Once they stop killing me, I'll stop dying.
Once they stop killing me, I'll stop dying. That is great. It's like, my characters don't die, they get killed.
It's not my fault people keep killing me.
My fault.
It's not my fault I'm doing shit to make them want me to be dead.
Oh, man. I don't think I could, if I tried, make a character that is as disliked as some of John's characters have been. I don't think I have it in me.
I could do it in text RP, but saying it out loud is really difficult for me because I get really like, I'm sorry, please don't take that for real. I'm really
yeah.
like it's hard when you have to like actually be mean to someone's face. Like that's difficult. I commend you, John. It's difficult.
I think I could get P-Fun to like really hate one of my characters by simply just being a vampire. Like that's it. That's all that I have to do, and he would want to kill me. Just that type of person. But anyway, I think that we can probably wrap up the show. What do you say, Nix?
Yeah, I feel like if we keep going, it'll be another 2-hour one.
Yeah, I think we've ranted enough. The moral of the story is be better.
At the end of the day, get good. Like, come on, guys. Figure your shit out.
A wise man once said, be the change that you want to see. I think it was John, but he didn't come up with that. He recycled it from somebody else.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like talking about it, going away and talking to your friend groups about it, about trying to change it up, switch it up, add more flair, get that role play. Don't call him a wise man. You know, if people start becoming aware that others are having an issue with it, it becomes more of a known problem that can be fixed. Because if it's not ever talked about, you can't fix something nobody knows is an issue.
Oh my god, John.
Nothing original in what I do. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is gonna be a good year. Hopefully it's a good year for games.
And roleplay.
And roleplay.
And this podcast.
And this podcast, yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And whoever I'm talking to, the press people.
Yeah,
hopefully
so
that can exist.
Yeah, we'll try to make that happen. Even if it has to wait a while. It's exciting. That's gonna be something a bit different, but I think still relevant.
I'm so curious.
Other than that,
I don't know if everyone in chat was here when you said that, but
yeah. So yeah, if you weren't here, I've been talking with this company about having a guest on. Not exactly role players, but they do facilitate role playing. So I've been going back and forth with their press team to try to make this happen. But
press team. They're big enough to have a press team.
Yeah. So we'll see
Stick
when that
around,
happens.
Guys,
Goals,
shit be happening.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and then he sprung that on me on stream, so
yeah,
I'm really
on stream,
excited.
Live. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting if we get to at least talk to them and hang out for a bit. Hopefully, you know, Arc 2 doesn't disappoint us, or Wildcard is like, no, we're gonna come out like next year, you know?
Yeah,
because they're known to do that.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I think there's hope. There's hope. We just gotta keep
There is hope.
doing our best to bring the good role play and yeah, be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, everybody
Love
that
you
followed.
all.
We love you guys. Have a good and happy and prosperous new year. Wishing you all the best. And
Bye, everybody.
we'll see you next time. Peace.
See you.